Get started. Good morning. Welcome to Eastpoint Branch Library and this flag raising ceremony. If I haven't had the opportunity to meet you, my name is Lisa Lance. I'm the Franklin County Public Library Director. I'm in charge of this location and our Carabel location. We're honored that each of you came out in this inclement weather for this event. After an earlier flag ceremony at our Carabel branch during the summer, I decided I wanted a flag here at Eastpoint. So I asked our representative with Woodman Life, who was gracious to get our new flag at Carabel, what do we need to do to get one for Eastpoint? So a few weeks later, Teresa Howard shows up in my office with Woodman Life, and all's been approved. So easy as pie. So fast forward to today, we've got all this rain, but I want to thank not only Woodman Life for making this possible, but also our Sheriff Smith for being gracious in providing the time and labor of his extended staff that was necessary to install the flagpole, and that included Mr. Alvin Newell, who was instrumental in putting a team together and putting our flagpole up. We raised this flag to represent our freedom of speech, the ability to continue to educate and assist with literacy achievement. But we dedicate this flag to the memory of and to the honor of all of those, local and afar, who dedicated themselves to the protection of freedom of our great nation, without which we would have no freedom for literacy achievement. We support this flag and we will honor it by flying it daily. Today is National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, and it commemorates the attack on Pearl Harbor during World War II. We thank all of our veterans that are here. We thank you for your dedication and the time, the serving of our country, and we recognize and extend our appreciation to World War II veteran David Butler, and we thank you for your service. We also have distinguished guests here, not only our sheriff and his officers. We have Franklin County District 1 Commissioner Ricky Jones. We have key sponsor of Music as Second Language Library Program and our Franklin County Property Tax Collector, Rick Watson. We have our Eastpoint Volunteer Fire Department. We have our St. George Island Volunteer Fire Department. We have our Carabel Mayor, Brenda LaPaz. Thank her for being here. And I appreciate the support that all of you all have given both of our locations for the library. And this time I thank Pastor Brian Bradley of the St. George Island United Methodist Church as he leads us in invocation.
Thank you. Let's pray together. Almighty God, we bow in prayer for the flag that will fly today with its symbol of freedom and equality for all. Keep love's banner flying over us as we walk in the way in our lives who do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with you, O Lord. Fashion our desires and our duties and our deeds in this community in accordance with thy will, that we labor for a better world and a better community. We remember on this Pearl Harbor Day all men and women who sacrificed their lives to defend our democracy, even as we ask you to bless all those who now defend our freedoms, both legislative and military agents. We also lift up this library especially, and this community, where learning and education must be the highest priority to protect intelligent growth and success for our children and future, as we all work together in faith and love to honor the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Bless now, Lord, all those who use their gifts as volunteers for the love of community, and hold responsible the leaders who are commissioned to care for the greater good. It is by faith, O Lord, and in your name as Creator and spiritual presence that we pray this special prayer under God. And all the people said, Amen. Amen.
I do apologize somewhat for this unorthodox, maybe non-traditional flag ceremony, but Mother Nature, of course, had another idea for us. Once we've heard from all of our guest speakers, we'll have the presentation of colors, and I thank the Tyndall Air Force Honor Guard for being with us at this event, presenting colors and raising our flag. Once we've heard from our speakers, we will have a presentation of the colors. We will get to hear the national anthem being sung by Tony Partington, and then we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. Due to the weather and due to the honor code of our flag, we will not actually go out to raise the flag, but we will honor our flag inside. And this time I'd like to introduce our guest speakers in the order of presentation. Franklin County Sheriff A.J. Smith, Commissioner Ricky Jones, Rick Watson, and Woodman Life Representative Teresa Howard.
Thank you, Lisa. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's an honor to be here. I was glad that Lisa thought of me to come and speak about her flag raising and the flag raising here at the library. And the flag, I want to kind of just talk about what the flag means to me. And probably ever since I was a kid, I've always had a huge respect for the flag. And both my parents served in the military. I didn't serve, but I started as a deputy sheriff here when I was right out of high school. And when I've noticed how things have kind of changed over the years. When I first was a deputy sheriff, you notice I have 2 patches on my sleeves. When I first started as a deputy sheriff working for longtime Sheriff Jack Taylor, it wasn't like this. You had a Florida patch, or you had the sheriff's patch, but then you had a Florida or a U.S. flag and a Florida flag. But over the last 35 years, it's changed. So now all sheriffs are wearing 2 patches. They don't wear the flags anymore, and that's actually one of the things that I've contemplated bringing back. A lot of agencies don't wear the flag pin. It's mandatory. All my deputies wear the flag pin. We have flags on our cars. We have the decals on our cars. We fly our flag by the code at the sheriff's office. When it's mandated to be at half-staff to honor someone's death, we do. We have a light that shines on it every night. I have a flag in my yard. And one of the things that I hope that we're able to do, actually I have a 20-foot flagpole. It's probably, people think I'm crazy, but I think that it's so symbolic of our country and what people have done to protect our freedoms. And I want the next generation of young people and the people coming up after us to know how important this flag is, because what I see sometimes is it's not as important as it was to my generation or to my parents' generation. And I hope that stuff like this that Lisa's doing increases that awareness and helps us show how important that flag is as a symbol of our freedom. And it's no small sacrifice what folks have done that have put their life on the line. And I have such respect for all the men and women who have served and who continue to serve, the ones who have never been across the ocean and the ones that have, because I think they've all sacrificed greatly. And that's one of the things I try to do at the sheriff's office. If I can hire someone who has been a veteran, that's what I want to do. I think they deserve an extra look, because they have paid that ultimate sacrifice. Their families have sacrificed. So, again, I just hope that we can continue to talk about the importance of the flag. And I know all our elected officials probably feel the same way I do. They feel the flags are important and that we should continue to honor it. And we should continue to teach, just like what Lisa's talking about, education. Continue to teach our children the importance of it and what it means to fly that flag and to display that flag and what people have sacrificed just to fly that flag. I know that a couple of years ago I did the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C., and it's a 26-mile run all through Washington, D.C., and all the aid stations were manned by Marines. And it was just it was very, just really made you think about what all these men and women have done, because you're running through all these monuments in Washington, D.C., you see all these Marines, and then when you finally finish your 26-mile run, guess where it ended up? Where?
Vietnam.
Iwo Jima. So what's that monument there? And I tell you what, it brings tears to your eyes when you cross that finish line and all those Marines are there and you see that huge monument and those men who put their life on the line to raise that flag. And I tell you what, if everybody could see that, I think they'd have a different appreciation of our flag. And I hope that we continue to honor it and just display it everywhere we can so everybody can see it. So again, thank you, Lisa, for having me here, and we're happy to do anything that we can do to assist the library. We're a phone call away.
Good morning. It's good to see you today. Good to be here. It's a great day in Franklin County and in America. Before I get started, I want to thank Lisa, Ms. Lance, our Public Library Director for Franklin County, for everything that she has taken over here, the improvements she's made. I don't know of many people in our county that could be busier than she is. I really don't know that there are. And we are very thankful at the county level for everything you're doing, and I want to make sure to express that to you today. Thank Ms. Teresa Howard and everyone else from Woodman Life for seeing this through for us to be able to have a flag here today. Thanks to Sheriff Smith, he mentioned it, and his staff for helping get the flagpole in place. Danny Collins, some of the people at Duke Energy that have been working to try to make sure it's lit up and everything's taken care of. And also Mr. Rick Watson here today, that's part of the Rock by the Sea that they do to help the library every year, and the friends of the library, the volunteers, those who support. Without you, today would not be possible, and we're thankful for that. Well, today we stand here on Pearl Harbor Day, remembering December 7th, 1941, when some 2,400 Americans did pay the ultimate price with their life to defend our lives, our freedoms, our want for the American way of life, liberty, and it's already been mentioned here today, in the pursuit of happiness, I believe when Brother Brian was praying. Also on that day, a major portion of our Navy's Pacific Fleet was lost. Bravery, selflessness, valor, courage were not just words on that day. They describe the actions of men and women, boots on the ground, knowing that they were defending our way of life, and they were already in place. There are no words that can be said about them to improve our response today, because they put themselves in harm's way then, and today men and women are also putting themselves in harm's way to preserve our American way of life. The only thing I can think to say today about that are two words: thank you. We're there, and we're still in foreign lands and in American soil today, preserving the American dream. That's what our military is about, and the American way of life. I would say to you today that education is at the center of that American way of life and those pursuits. And the library has to be at the heart of education and our public education system. This morning, I had a friend at Napa where I work come in, and he was giving me a hard time because I'd had a tie on, but I knew I had to be here today. And I said, it's okay, it's all good. He said, I told him what was going on. And he said, I'm just telling you how I feel. And he was probably 32, 33 years old. He said, I've often thought that a public library was just a waste of money. He said, but you know what? He said, I actually went out and visited a library. He said, that's probably the busiest place in the county. He said, there's people all around there, there's things going on. He said, I had no idea. I said, exactly. You need to make sure you go and take your kids with you. It's at a library. All of us have shared this before. You get to pick up a book, open the pages, get insights into the minds and the thinking of those that have been before us, and even those that are with us today that are expressing their ideas and putting them on paper and putting them in a book. Those are not bad things, people. We are not destined to repeat history if we learn from it. We can learn a lot from the pages of books found in our library. So today we express our gratitude and thankfulness for all these things. Our military, remembering them today, remembering our American way of life, our educational system, and remembering our public libraries. What a great thing. See, we can not only appreciate our past, but because of public libraries like these, we can be optimistic about our future. Thank you.
I'd like to recognize a couple of people first. Stephen Farrell in my office is an agent for Woodman, the tax collector's office. I'm very happy to have Beth Gosnell with me. She is the president of Rock by the Sea. I'll talk about Rock by the Sea in our program in just a minute. The flag is a symbol. The flag communicates to us. Symbols communicate. The library and its existence communicates to us. It communicates our history, our hopes, our knowledge. Music communicates to us. And that leads me into the program that Rock by the Sea has sponsored for many years called Music as a Second Language. We provide the funding for the instructors and musical instruments, and I'm proud to say that in January we'll have 30 students involved in that program. And music is the common language, and it brings our community together. So I'm very happy to have Beth here. Rock by the Sea is entering its 12th year. That's a music festival we have at St. George every year, and raise funds to help children. And the library is one of our targeted charities, and a good partner. So the flag is a symbol. The flag communicates to us, much like the meme we hear about with the youngsters these days. The question is, what does it communicate? For me, it communicates an ideal. I would argue that our country is not as a homogeneous nation as other countries are. I would suggest that we are the most diverse country in the world, maybe the history of the world. So what holds us together? It's the ideal of America. What are those ideals? The ideals are democracy. The ideals are equal protection under the law, due process in the law. In the Declaration of Independence, it said moving towards a more perfect union. We have not reached a perfect union yet. There have been distractions, there have been setbacks, we've stumbled, we've taken detours, but I'm confident, and I think the country's confident, that we are moving towards that idea. I'd like to close with a couple of quotes from two very diverse people. It's time to remember that old wisdom our soldiers will never forget, that whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots. We all enjoy the same glorious freedoms, and we all salute the same great American flag. Donald Trump. The next quote, I see Americans of every party, every background, every faith, who believe that we are stronger together, black, white, Latino, Asian, Native American, young, old, gay, straight, men, women, folks with disabilities, all pledging allegiance under the same proud flag to this big, bold country that we love. That's what I see. That's the America I know. Barack Obama. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lance Myers. I'm the recruiting sales manager for this area for Woodman Life, and just proud to be here this morning. And thanks to Ms. Lance for the organization of this. She did a great job, and of course the outstanding presentations by Sheriff Smith, Commissioner Jones, and of course Tax Collector Watson. My mother was a Watson, by the way. I'll have to check on that later. But anyway, Woodman Life was founded in 1890. It's a not-for-profit fraternal insurance organization, really organized for two reasons. And that is to provide financial security for our members, and that's what we call people that do business with us, and to make our communities a better place to live. And part of our program to make our communities a better place to live is our patriotic program. And that's where we donate flags and flagpoles to nonprofit organizations. And I guess you will all agree this is a nonprofit organization right here. So we're proud to do that, and we're excited about that. We donate thousands of flags, hundreds of flagpoles, and we are one of the largest purchasers of American flags in the country. Only the government purchases more flags than us, we're not going to outspend our government. So anyway, we're happy to number two. I want to acknowledge a few guests that we have here today. Of course, Stephanie, who's already been acknowledged. Thank you for being here, Stephanie. We appreciate it. And we have our state fraternal coordinator here who organizes events like this, Mickey Pennington. Mickey, would you stand up? Mickey, and Mickey is a Marine. So once a Marine, always a Marine. I understand that right. So Mickey, thank you for being here. My wife, Peggy, who has had knee surgery in the last 2 or 3 weeks. You can stay seated, Peggy is down here. Or she loves Apalachicola, and any reason to come down here and see the shops and eat seafood is a great reason for her to come down. But I want to acknowledge who kind of spearheaded this today, and it's one of our newer representatives, Teresa Howard here, who's doing a great job for us, very active in the community, and kind of spearheading our presentation today. So Teresa Howard.
Well, before I go through with this speech here, as I've heard others come up here and speak on a personal basis for our community, I've lived in Franklin County all of my life, and I have to give my personal touch there too. It's a wonderful thing to be able to live and work in a community and be able to give back. And that was one of the reasons that I chose to work for Woodman Life. I wanted to work and reach out within the homes. I was able to, in a job I previously had, I touched the children. I was able to work with them, but I wanted to go a little bit broader into our community. And several people that I've worked with too, I love seeing them being able to reach out on a more personable basis, to get inside our homes and be able to help out with teaching our community, just as a library is, just an open place for learning and drawing our community closer. I love being able to do that with our job. I've got a great manager that helps me along the way, and it's just a wonderful job, and I look forward to helping our community even grow stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be here representing Woodman Life and to present your group a flagpole and an American flag, the emblem of our country's heritage of bravery and liberty. Woodman Life members champion patriotism, and we're proud to provide flags to this and other worthy nonprofit organizations. In fact, our organization has become one of the largest presenters of United States flags in the nation. Most flags are free to recipients, many of which are children's groups such as Scout troops. Presentations are always made with a special ceremony to demonstrate love of our country, respect for Old Glory, and appreciation for the principles they represent. The flag of our nation symbolizes the values, hopes, and aspirations of its people. The Continental Congress meeting in Philadelphia adopted the following resolution on June the 14th, 1777. That the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white. That the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. These words signal to the world the birth of a new nation, founded on the ideals of personal and religious liberty and justice for all. The flag of today retains the 13 red and white stripes, representing the 13 original colonies, red signifying courage, and white a love of liberty and purity of purpose. The 50 stars of a field of blue represent the union of the 50 states, the blue being an indication of loyalty among them. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Woodman Life, Chapter 913, I represent to you the flag of the United States of America.
Colors. 10. Forward. Forward.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets wrinkling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, we stand in respect to the flag of our nation, and to our nation, let us recite our Pledge of Allegiance to that flag and that nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ort. Arms. Colors. Colors turn. Arch. There's 3, 2.
Thank you all for being here today. Appreciation that I did mention earlier, I appreciate American Legion Post 82 from Lanark being here, also doing our video. But thank you for your attendance, and whenever the rain stops, praise God. Thank you all.
Thank you.
The color guard will be